Hello children, I'm Victoria Carlton and I'm going to read you a story from the Lectionary Story Bible by Ralph Milton for Year A. This is a story about a man who asked lots and lots of questions. Do you ask lots of questions? I did when I was in school. In fact, I still do. I ask a lot of why questions. Why is that? Are you sure? I don't believe that. Can I check up? And my teachers used to say to me, Vicky, stop asking questions. My parents used to say, please stop asking questions. Well, this is a story about a man called Thomas who used to ask lots of questions. Don't ask so many questions, Thomas. That's what Thomas's teachers said in school. That's what Thomas's parents said at home. That's what Thomas's friends said. But Thomas couldn't help it. When the rabbi, the teacher, told them things in school, Thomas often asked, how do you know that? Sometimes that made the rabbi very angry. I know just because I know, Thomas. It is true because I say so. Thomas had to be quiet, but he didn't like the teacher's answer. Thomas was sad when his questions made people angry, but he couldn't stop asking. When Thomas grew older, he became one of Jesus' special friends. He became a disciple. Thomas liked Jesus because Jesus never told him to stop asking questions. One day, Jesus was trying to explain what was going to happen. I am going away, said Jesus. I am going to get a place ready for you. God's house has room for you and for everyone else. You know the way to God's house. No, we don't, said Thomas. What is the way? That's a good question, Thomas, smiled Jesus. I am the way. If you really love me and love each other, then you know the way. I still don't understand all of it, said Thomas. That's okay, said Jesus. Just keep asking questions. Not long after that, Jesus died. He was killed by people who didn't like the way he said that God loved everyone. Thomas was very sad when Jesus was killed. Very, very sad indeed. So when some of the other disciples said that Jesus was alive again, Thomas really wanted to believe them. But he couldn't. His mind kept on asking questions. How can somebody be dead and then be alive again? When some of the disciples told Thomas they had seen Jesus, Thomas asked, how can you be sure it was Jesus? How do you know it wasn't someone else? But we saw him with our own eyes, said the disciples. Maybe, said Thomas, but I have to see for myself. I have to see the places in Jesus' hands where they put the nails. Otherwise, I won't believe it. A few days later, Thomas and his friends were together. All the doors were closed, but suddenly there was Jesus in the room with them. And he smiled at Thomas. Come here, my friend. Touch the places where they put the nails. It really is me. So that's Thomas there who asked lots of questions. And that's Thomas looking at Jesus' hands there. Thomas began to cry. He was so happy to see Jesus. Oh yes, it is you, Jesus. I am so glad. Now I know that you're alive again. I won't ask any more questions. Oh, don't stop asking questions, Thomas, said Jesus. I am glad you are able to see me so you can be sure. Then you can believe. But there will be lots of people who won't be able to see me. They will ask questions too. It will be hard for them to believe, just as it was hard for you to believe. I will need you to tell them my story. You mean you're not angry because I didn't believe right away that you were alive again? Thomas asked. No, not angry at all, said Jesus. I like it when people ask hard questions. But you won't understand everything, Thomas. You will never find answers to all your questions. Just remember that I love you and that God loves you. Nobody can prove that part, but it is the part that is the most true. Thank you so much for listening to this story about the man who asked lots of questions. And children, keep on asking questions. God loves us to do that.